focus mostly on just very basic phrases, very basic words that you might need on a day-to-day basis. This is not an introduction to the grammar, to anything more complicated than saying thanks, please help me, how are you, stuff like that. So very basic small talk. You will be able to maybe do this, but it's just the start. It's just the start. And if you are thinking about traveling to Germany, then I can give you a few tips maybe in another video. Now, most Germans, especially around my age, maybe up to their 30s, they know English, and almost everyone knows basic English, basic enough to tell you, I don't speak English, please find someone who does. So don't be scared. Germans are usually quite helpful if they're not stressed while you talk to them. Anyway, let's get to the topic. It's about German, learning the German language, die deutsche Sprache. And let me just interrupt this lesson with a quick word from our sponsor. No one, of course nobody sponsored this video, but you could still make a small creator big happy if you were to like the video and subscribe. So, see you again tomorrow. German is, in a language learning context, very difficult. We have umlaute, which there aren't in English. we have a few extra letters. We have very difficult grammar, and I'd say the language in itself sounds very different to English because it's very harsh. So, if I were better at linguistics, which is my field of study, I could tell you how exactly that is, but I'm not focusing on language acquisition, so I kind of have an excuse there, but doesn't matter for English learning. You don't need to learn the linguistics. Let's just start very basic, very basic with the classics. So, you want to say thank you. Very easy. It's just thank you. And if you want to say thank you in Germany, there's of course multiple ways to say that, but the kind of basic thank you is danke. It's D-A-N-K-E. Danke. Kind of, if you're a basketball player, you know the dunk. And dank is actually also a German word. It's written a bit differently because the sound is an A in Germany. It's danke. But in the end, it's kind of the same. So you can say dank and then put an at the end. That's kind of the danke, 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 danke. That's to say thank you. If you were to say thank you very much in Germany, you also put something at the end. So it's not danke, it's danke schön. And this schön might be something that you're already familiar with if you know a bit of German, because the schön part actually means beautiful. So if someone is schön, they're pretty, they're beautiful. It's kind of the standard nice looking thing. Your room could be very nice looking. You could have a schöner Raum or a schönes Zimmer, or there could be a nice flower, that could be a schöne Blume, stuff like that. So it's kind of the standard beautiful, and you are most definitely also a beautiful person, so you would be a schöne Person. So Dankeschön, if you kind of want to put one extra there, and we just say, yeah, thank you, beautiful, but not in that sense. It's written together. It has no connotation in terms of saying that you are beautiful. It's just the thank you very much, Dankeschön. And schön actually is a word that has an umlaut in it. It's the it's O with two dots above it, so kind of the O emoji. But no need to say that, just say danke. And if you're a foreigner, everybody will understand that you're not going to say complicated phrases or anything more. Danke is perfectly fine and is more often used than Dankeschön anyway. Next up, we have please. Be polite, always be polite. And actually, please is going to be very easy, or not easy, but you can kind of get two words with one learn. You can get two flies with one fly, catch a thingy, the thing you trap flies with, because that's the German saying. It's zwei Fliegen mit einer Klappe schlagen. It's hitting two it's swatter in English. Not quite sure. Doesn't matter anyway. So the German for please and also for you're welcome is bitte. 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 It's a bit like bitter, but without the R. Bitte. And a bit harsher because it's German. Everything's a bit harder and harsher in terms of language. So bitte. 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 And you can say that for could you please pass me the salt, for example. You say, of course, could you pass me the salt? Kannst du mir bitte das Salz reichen? Let's not focus on that, but rather, kannst du mir bitte das Salz reichen? So it's, can you please hand me the salt? And could you go, please? Could you leave, please? Kannst du bitte gehen? But you can also say when someone says, oh, thank you very much, you say, bitte, no problem. Say, you're welcome. It's also bitte. So maybe that's the easy part of our language, and with that you have the basics of politeness. Let's move on to another polite thing, and that is excusing yourself. So saying excuse me. If you want to say excuse me, you say Entschuldigung. You can say Entschuldigung. Now Entschuldigung is a very long word, and depending on the person and the situation, you kind of modify it a little bit, so you don't just say Entschuldigung, which is just the basic, but you can say Entschuldigen Sie bitte, kind of to be polite, because in Germany there's two forms of you. It's du for friendly person, or like people you're friendly with, and it's Sie, which is the polite form that is actually usually taught in school. So when you learn German, you will most likely start off learning the Sie form, because that's just polite, and it's better to talk to everyone politely than kind of talk to people you should be polite to in a rude manner. So you will, if you learn German, most likely know the Sie, but that's actually not a problem at all. In general, you can not throw that out the window. But if you want to say sorry and excuse yourself in German, you can also just say sorry in most cases. Just say sorry, because everybody in Germany knows the word sorry. It's kind of already ingrained in the language, and even among old generations. Maybe not my grandparents, but like my parents, who are also approaching their 70s, their 60s, they would completely understand if you just, oh, sorry. Just make it sound a bit more German. Put that German accent in. Don't say sorry. Say sorry. Very, very, very front-loaded R. It's so. It's not the back R. It's the front R. Sorry. Sorry. Very standard in German amongst all the boomers as well. So just use sorry if you're in trouble. And of course, if you want to sound a bit more sophisticated, you can say Entschuldigung, Entschuldigung, Entschuldigung. Let's find a way to memorize the Entschuldigung. So end, like the end. Schuld. Difficult. Entschuldigung and Schuld. Maybe it's a bit like should, but you put an L in there. Schuld and Schuld. I think that's a good way. And Schuld. E. The German E, or German I, is pronounced as E, not I. So if there's only an I, it would be E. Kind of like the English A-Y. I. That's how we would write an I, and there is just E. Just E. So your E is our I. Difficult to say. So we have and Schuld, then just an E, and Schuld, E. And then you have Gong, which is Gong. Kind of like Gong, but with a U. Gong, and Schuld, E, Gong. And everyone will understand you. You can also just mimic me, right? But just to find some terms that you might be able to use to piece the word together yourself. And then if you want to memorize it better, you say, okay, at the end, you should, you shall make a loud noise with a gong, like Lord Farquaad would. And then you have the E in there as well. That's how you kind of memorize the word. Look, the end you need to make a loud noise. You should make a loud noise with a gong. And Lord Farquaad would definitely do that. And he's E. And Lord Farquaad hit the gong at the end as one should. And should E gong. Let's move on. Really, we should definitely move on. We only have made a very little progress so far. So we're past 3 words. We have danke, we have bitte, and we have Entschuldigung. Danke, bitte, Entschuldigung. Basics. Now let's move on to small talk. Now in Germany, you usually don't have small talk with strangers. It's very little. I know in English-speaking countries, that's something you kind of do, just small talk with people. But in Germany, if you have interactions with, for example, a cashier, someone working at a shop, very often it's just the basics, especially if they're working in kind of a big food store, for example, like Netto, Lidl, something like that. They will not talk to you. They just gonna do their job, tell you the price, and then they maybe say, have a nice day, have a nice weekend, depending on when, of course, you're buying stuff, and that's about it. So the small talk stuff you're gonna need when you want to talk to people, actually, like in a bar, in a place where you meet people. Anyway, as I said, most people speak German, but you might want to just get a bit of speak English, of course, but you might just want to get a bit of German in there. So you want to start off with asking them how they feel. How are you? And in English, that is a very small talky question. You never say I'm not good in a small talk setting. In Germany, we will say that. We will just say, nah, I'm feeling terrible. And you will be there and be like, well, how do I follow up on this? And you probably just don't. You know, damn. You say, damn. Unlucky. So, if you want to ask someone, how are you? You say, wie geht es Ihnen or dir? That's the polite and impolite version once again, but let's not do the polite one, because you will learn it anyway. And to be quite honest, these small talk settings very rarely happen with people that you want to be polite with. So just say the casual form, and that's dir. How are you? Wie geht es dir? It's actually 4 words. And instead of how are you, we say, how is it going for you? You know, geht, which is one part, is going. I could be going. Ich gehe is I am going. So basically we say, how's it going? And we specify that it's for you. So, wie geht es dir? If you remember the Nintendo Wii, that's the first word. It's the Wii. Of course, once again, you put everything a bit more in the front mouth. It's not the Wii, it's the V. Small. The W sound is more teethy than it's throaty. It's not Wii, it's V. You'll get used to it once you learn a bit of German. So, wie geht, a bit like gate, right? Gate, but instead of an E, you make an E. So, is there an E sound in English actually? E. I don't believe. I can't really think of one right now, but that most definitely is one somewhere. So, it's gate, but instead of the A, you say E. Gate. Gate. Now we have wie. Wie geht. Wie geht es? Like the letter S. Wie geht es? And then dir. Like if you have a directory and you want to shorten the word directory, say dir. D-I-R. That's also how you write it. We say, wie geht es dir? How are you? And I say, wie geht es dir? And then you can say, as English-speaking people would usually do, you say, I'm fine. And if you want to say I'm fine, then you just say, good. Just say, fine. It's not the I'm fine, it's just fine. And that's a very reasonable answer if you're feeling good. It's not rude to say it at all. Just say, I'm fine. Just say, Gut. Gut. It's a lot like good, but with a U, with a T. Gut. Gut. Wie geht es dir? Gut. And then, because you're polite, as well as earlier, you say, how about you? So, I'm gonna say, wie geht es dir? You say, gut. And then you can just say, and you. It's also very German. You could also just say, and how are you feeling? And how about you? But you can just say, gut. Und dir. So, gut. And you. And that's very basic, but it's absolutely okay, especially in a setting where it's not this polite person you're speaking to. Just a friend, someone you met in a bar, same age maybe even younger, maybe a bit older. If you meet them at the bar, you can usually just go and be impolite. So, wie geht es dir? Gut. Und dir. Und is like and, but with a U. Und. And the dir we talked about. So, gut und dir. And then the other person answers as well. Maybe they say good as well. Maybe they say, I'm very bad, please help me. Maybe they say, so, but honestly, doesn't matter. Because that's something we can talk about. If there's ever another German learning video, I actually thought that I would get through these words much quicker. A lot quicker. So I had a list. I have a list found on the internet, but I have a list with a lot of words, and I had like basic phrases which are like maybe 10. And I thought, maybe that's not enough. I need more. But no, we were able to go through 5. We know danke, we know bitte, we know Entschuldigung, 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 Entschuldigung. And then we said, wie geht es dir? Gut und dir. That's about it for the first of these videos. If you want more, you can always tell me so in the comments, and then we can learn some more German together. Maybe situational, maybe just for everyday use. Who knows? It's my kind of my native language, so I can teach you whatever in the end. Maybe you want to learn German computer terms, video game terms, whatever. If there's anything that you would like to see, then please do tell me, and I will try to make it happen. So yeah, with that, thank you very much for watching tonight, and I'll leave you to your own while you fall asleep. Thank you very much once again, and see you tomorrow.